Hello guys, we've just concluded our first year here at Astralis, and me and Hansen are going to be walking you through some of our thoughts going into the next year.
Coming into the 2020 off-season, we were tasked with doing a full rebuild of the entire roster. We were initially looking for players that had creativity, open-mindedness, decisiveness, and ability to perform under pressure.
So for us, it wasn't really about big names. It was more about signing people we believe in terms of what makes a good team and the individual aspects that are required in order to do so. So the players we scouted basically had these qualities in them. We believed in them from the start, but of course this was a long-term project from the very start. So we had to focus on the individual aspects of them and also the team aspects, like make them play together and all that. We are still a long way from achieving that fully, but we are making a lot of progress as shown in summer.
When the roster was first initially announced or leaked, we had some negative backlash from the community. We didn't go for 5 rookies that had the potential to be good. We decided to go for 5 players that we could identify. These guys do exactly what we want them to do, and that's why we picked the guys we did. That might just be a dependable top laner, a support in jungle that is able to look for different angles and just be willing to commit for engages. Late game carries and ADC and mid, and that's what we're going for. Coming into the season, we had the mindset that Spring Split would be a platform to learn and adjust to life in Copenhagen and LSE.
Sadly, Spring Split came also with some hurdles. Basically, we had our situation with Nukeduck and his health, and we had to make a swap, and basically Felix stepped in as a result. We adjusted pretty fine to that. In the end, we ended up on a high note.
Coming into Summer Split, we basically used the learnings we had from Spring straight into the team. One of the changes was a structural change, basically changing our approach to a standard week. We invested half of our first day of scrims basically into instead having direction meetings, mod reviews, just trying to be on the same page. Second half of the day, just take it off. Try to do some team activities once in a while, and then scrim like normal the other days of the week before match days. We still went to gym throughout the entire year. That was something that was a bit of a hurdle to get over in the beginning, but eventually we made it a standard process for us to go gyms Mondays and Wednesdays.
Obviously, we still had some issues, like for example, falling behind almost every single game. I think that's obviously not something we want to continue doing. And I think only one part was kind of disappointing, which was the last week. I don't feel we played in the last 2 games like a team that actually deserved playoffs or contested playoffs, but instead we kind of played like a bottom tier team in the last 2 games. So for me that was kind of hurtful, but that's just how it is.
One thing that we as coaching staff is very happy about is the change of the vibe of the team coming into Summer Split. We basically had a split together to get to know each other a bit more, get to understand each other and how we tick as people. And you could see a change both in terms of how we played the game, but also just the vibe outside of the game was great. We spent more time together, if that was at the gym, if that was hanging out after scrims, if that was doing a team activity. We took the time to actually get to know each other more as persons, and that also made a bigger change in how we just approach our daily life and enjoy our life together.
Going into next year, we've identified we have some problems on an individual level. I think as a team we actually performed quite well, but we've been falling behind too much and too often in a lot of games. We had a lot of individual blunders. I think we kind of have to start emphasizing that a lot more. So we were going to be coming up with plans in order to target exactly that and elevate our level to a point where we don't have to struggle being 4 or 5k behind every single game.
One of the biggest learnings we have coming from this year is the mantra, less is more. Coming into the year, we had all these crazy ideas and thoughts we wanted to implement to the team, and basically sometimes it just be a case of having too much. Coming into summer, we had a clear, direct plan of some key specific things we wanted to work on. And I think it's clear to see that actually was implemented in the team and that worked out for us.
I think people can expect to see the same creative Astralis in mid-late. I think we will most likely maintain the teamwork that we have right now. I can't see it degrading really. We have a good relationship outside the game with the players. They all get along very well, and I think that's gonna shine through even into the next year. And that's kind of been a main part of why we've been performing as a team so well. So as long as we keep building their individual strengths, I think we will see a more stable Astralis on top of being creative and throwing a lot of curveballs throughout the game. So we should be enjoyable to watch still, so stay tuned.
Over the year, we managed to prove a lot of people wrong and managed to turn over some new fans, I would say. So I could clearly see that we had more supporters as the split went by. Coming into next year, please stick by. It will be a lot more fun to watch.